Today is Saturday, December 3rd, 2016. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor Millennials vs. Gen X, Episode 11.
Quick note, we've got an important JSFL announcement that we'll hold to the end of the show. I think a lot of people already know, but just in case, and because it might be spoilery for some people, we'll hold it till the end.
We will announce it before we say it.
Can you hold it?
Spoiler alert.
I can hold it.
You're already on my list today.
I am. You and your husky whiskey voice. You sung your voice out.
Did. Well, my voice was already challenged before we sang for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I'll give the best I have.
All righty. Let's see. This was a challenging episode. It was an emotional episode. Definitely some changes in the power rankings among the castaways that are left seem to take place. I'm really curious what the superfans thought about all this. So let's dig in. How many we got?
20
superfans shared their thoughts about this episode. And there's some predictions for what to expect next.
Good. I
right.
could use any help I can get.
Yeah, that's right. Let's kick it off with Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. Oh, my God. I never would have thought this episode would live up to the hype of last week's nuttiness, but let's let it out. Woo! Yeah, baby. Another epic doozy-woozy. So let's get cooking. All I gotta say is big time, you tell me if you agree, big time redemption story for Adam. Went from basically losing his alliance to almost getting voted out. Now all of a sudden he had a big time change of events, starting with the loved one's visit with his brother, and then not using the steel was a very, very wise move on his part, and it redeemed himself with Jay for sure. And I gotta say, him winning immunity makes it all the more perfect for love for his whole family, especially his mom, and that's a lifelong dream of his. And I never would have expected him to have a great read and playing the idol for Hannah. And somehow it looked like Hannah knew the votes were coming her way, too. I give credit where credit's due there. Wow. I never would have thought that would happen. And, man, interesting episode for the young lad, Will. Hey, guys, I'm trying to take control of this game, but I don't know what I'm doing. That's my little deep voice of Will. But hey, I give Will credit. He sees the light of trying to make a move, and he ended up voting with the minority to get rid of Zeke. So it turned out Adam didn't need his idol, but there's no way Will is winning, guys. He may get some points here and there. Unless he's with Brett, if he's smart, he should stay close with Brett and Sunday. I think that's his only chance of winning. Because honestly, against David, Adam, even Hannah, there's no way Will wins against any one of those three. Because I think those three are a little more well-liked than Will in front of a jury there, to me. But who knows the way this season's going. My God. And then we didn't see too much of Jay there. Jay's idol now is the only one that's in play, which everyone knows about. Who would have thought that? So I wonder if they're going to have another idol in play, Joanne and Stacy. What do you guys think as we get to these last couple of episodes here before the finale? But I still like David. We didn't see David knew what was going going on. Him and Adam now with Zeke blindsided, which I'm very sad about. Those are my top 2 picks now. Oh, and I gotta say in closing, this is for so-called trustworthy Ken. Adrian, I trust you. I trust you. Well, Adrian, how you doing? Guys. Well, but this was an epic episode, guys. I'm digging it. Take care.
All right, Pete. I like all these characters you're bringing into your feedback there. That's entertaining for sure.
I don't think for a second that they'll bring in another idol with one still.
I don't either, but we've been wrong about that in the past, too.
And
so
this is a
I just
way
don't think it'll
different
happen.
season. I just don't think so because
seems unlikely.
There's one tribe now, and there's one in play.
Mm-hmm.
If Jay played his last week, then maybe they would have brought one back this week. But
right. If we had gone to none, then we would for sure expect another one.
yeah.
But since there's one still in play, we're thinking it's not going to happen.
Okay. Up next, we have audio from Shea.
Hi, Joanne. Hi, Stacy. This is Shea. That was one heck of an episode. Still kind of, I don't know, in a spin about it all. I know that I wasn't surprised at all that Adam didn't use his advantage. To have done it would have certainly ended his game. They would have taken him out immediately. I know I could just barely watch Adam and his brother. And to be honest, I didn't know everybody else in the game didn't know about his mom. I thought they all knew, but I guess he's keeping that close to the vest because he doesn't want any pity votes. That being said, though, I wonder if he will let it slip a little bit should he make it to the final 3 as part of his statement to the jury as to why he played. I don't know if that's a good way to go or not. I don't know. But it was just something I was thinking about. Ken, all of this time I kept imagining quiet, confident, relaxed guy who just doesn't have to say a lot. But I think a lot of us were just swayed by his beauty. I think he might be just a brooding, spoiled brat. I'm not sure. It was really strange. I just couldn't believe that he did that. He just marched right up there like an idiot. The whole time I was like, surely he's not going to do this. But he did it. Tribal council was amazing, everything about it. I'm kind of stuck on something Stacy said in your review of the show, how he just couldn't imagine Hannah winning or her doing anything to have one, and I couldn't disagree more. She has calmed situations down when they needed to be calmed. She has done a lot of talking to sway some things. She's picked the right side of things or been on the right side of decisions when she needed to be. She's always kind of known when it was going to be her and tried to take steps to get help from other people to prevent it. I think she's played a very good game, far better than I ever expected of her. I'm surprised you don't see any of that, but that's another good thing about this game and this podcast. We all have different opinions about the exact same show, and I can't wait to hear everybody else's. You guys have a great day.
I see it, Shea, and Stacy is wrong.
So my view on Hannah remains the same. Hannah's been pulled along, and if you always think your name is coming
We've
up,
already heard you're
going to be right eventually. More likely than not, just like a broken clock is right twice a day.
With that,
she's a broken clock. She's not in tune with anything. I can't see that story at all.
Your opinion is not the be all and end all.
Absolutely not. It's just like Shay's got hers. That's mine. And on the Adam thing, I absolutely think Adam's holding it, and he's going to bring it up at tribal
he's doing
council.
That deliberately. Yeah.
I will actually be most surprised if he does not mention it were he to make it to final tribal council.
Oh, he absolutely will.
The thing that concerns me, though, is can he possibly do enough to overcome some of the ill will he's fostered with how Zeke told us he was managing that reward advantage, right?
Yeah.
It's not clear to me that he's going to completely overcome that.
Well, I thought it was all night, and then he there's an extra clip with him talking about...
I did it all strategically. Which we doubted a little bit.
I was like,
that could be you taking credit for history.
Yeah.
I mean, really? You're going to play that gambit?
Spinning it now after the fact?
Because he said that he was going to get taken along anyway.
because I
And they
thought
were
it was
talking
really
about
emotional.
things, obviously, beforehand, before the loved one's visit. So maybe he did have a good read
But
that
we
someone would
also
take him.
didn't know at that time that he had been taunting the other players that he was
Mm-hmm.
going to take their loved one visit.
Yeah, really interesting.
It was Zeke that told us that.
It's like
right?
another level. Every episode we get, it's just like
more
ascends.
more information.
Yeah, to another
So you just haven't
level
gotten
of
all
goodness.
the information about Hannah yet.
Okay, sure, I'll acknowledge
So the
that may
people-
be everything I've seen.
I will admit the people that we've talked to didn't. Everybody likes Hannah, but nobody had much to say about her game.
I don't
So-
think they respect her game at all.
Well-
And Zeke said, hey, the two people I would ideally have at the end? Ken and
Hannah.
Hannah. There's a reason for that.
Well, we'll see how well, if they get there, they can speak at the final trial.
Yeah, when Pete
That's
and
where
Shea
it's
were
lost
talking
or
about
won.
Adam and then the different possibilities here, I was looking and going, oh, okay, so if Will does go with Sunday, Ken and Brett, that would be an interesting grouping, wouldn't it? To see them work to get rid of the other, 3 or the other 4 before the finale.
Interesting. I think if David gets there, he wins. I do. I've thought that for quite a while now.
What if Adam's there and Adam drops he does his big reveal?
I still think everybody at least perceives David's game and his accomplishments in the game to be even beyond that.
Adam
Now,
played his idol effectively. David squandered his twice.
Yeah.
Complete goofed it.
As it turned out, yeah, but he was trying to play it effectively.
Okay. Give him the participation award. Okay,
Well,
thanks, Shea.
but there could be equal case made that Adam squandered his because
No.
he didn't need it.
There's no way for
the
him
way
to
it-
know that.
Well,
Absolutely no
David
way.
either. He had to guess it who to play it for. So
He just guessed-
Like I said, the case can be made either way.
He guessed wrong once, and Sunday psyched him out the second time. So he
Yeah.
got taken by Sunday.
Well, and Adam telling him to vote for Ken.
Yeah.
He trusted Adam's opinion.
Good deal. Thanks, Shea. We're off on a tangent. Only at number 2. Next up, we got an email from Skippy in Utah. Hi, Joanne and Stacy. While many of us, especially myself, have not liked the title of this season, I think we can all agree that the cast is one of the best overall we've had in years. I think that's a sentiment we're going to hear again in the course of this feedback, and certainly Joanne and I agree. Can you believe we had an episode this good right after the best Thanksgiving episode we've ever had? To quote Pete in Boston, that was a doozy. Call it the evolution of the game, but almost everyone on this cast has been playing like Survivor alumni. Even the GOATs like Brett and Sunday have been playing like professional GOATs. And then there's 18-year-old Will. When was the last time we had a player who at this point in the game could see clearly their position in the game and have enough guts to, before it was too late, change? And they became first or second runner-up or the eventual Survivor winner. Okay, there's a prediction. He thinks Will's on his way, huh? Now, before I go any further, note to Ken, look at what happens when you open your mouth. You almost ruin the entire game for 4 people. Maybe you should shut your mouth and go back to just being pretty. That's harsh, Skippy. He's in the Geek Alliance, but he's acting like the dumb jock who thinks he can say anything he wants with no repercussions. If it wasn't for Ken, Adam would still have his idol, and we might have been building up to another night where 2 idols were played at the same tribal council. Am I the only one who saw, after Sunday called Will a child during tribal, there was a brief moment where Will looked like he might actually betray both alliances, instead vote for Ken or Sunday? There was definitely a disgruntled, discouraged look on his face, for sure. This season has had it all. Monsoons, epic tribal councils, a showmance, nerds turned heroes, Jeff berating people during challenges, secret idols, cops, lawyers, and food thieves, and tears. So many tears. I couldn't believe how much I cried during the arrival of the loved ones. Darn you, Jay. I thought I'd cried the most when Adam told everyone that he wasn't going to steal their loved ones, until Jay decides to pick Adam and his brother. Then I really cried. There's still so many things left in the season we have to find out. What does the legacy advantage do? Which alliance wins? Who will David say, I trust you to next? Will Kenna be the Figtails. Okay, so Ken and Hannah. Kenna. All right.
Be the new
Figtails. Yeah. Note to Survivor producers, if Ken and Hannah had their own show about being in love, or even a show about Hannah trying to get Ken to fall in love with her, I would watch 32 seasons of that. Oh, jeez. That's some endurance. Lastly, I think the three best players remaining are Adam, Jay, and David. Who do you think would win if they were the three finalists? And who do you think are the easiest two people for Adam, Jay, and David to beat? Keep it crispy and may your torches never be snuffed. Thanks, Skippy. P.S. Can I get a woohoo from Pete in Boston? There you go, Skippy. Okay, so who's going to win out of those three?
Oh, David.
All right. I think Jay may pull it out.
Well, that's a possibility just because...
1, 2...
How many millennials are on
3,
the jury?
4...
1, 2, 3. There would be...
5. He could easily do it. Jay could do it. That's going to be tough if it's those three. Man, that would be a heck of a final three. And the easiest two to beat, I'm going to go with what Zeke told us, that it's Hannah and Ken. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
I think Brett and Sunday'd be pretty easy to beat, too. I don't know that anybody really respects their game. I thought a lot of the millennials like Sunday, and they like Brett. But I don't know. A lot of them are telling us that they want them to have really played and made moves in the game. And I'm not seeing... They're seen by everyone as Chris. That was Chris's people.
Yeah.
So...
Certainly Jessica thought of them that way, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and so, yeah.
I think the big things are not disliked, and then it depends on who they're there with and how they manage themselves.
But I thought Ken would have had a chance to win, but I no longer think that.
I think it's just the editors having fun with us. Because they've shown the good and the bad side of everyone. Everyone's had ups and downs that has been featured. So you get to see them making blunders, and you get to see them playing smart. I love how the editors have managed that this season, rather. Excellent.
Okay.
Thanks, Skippy. Next up, we got a call from Sophia. Let's see if she's still in love with Will.
Hi, this is Sophia from Michigan. Just watched Survivor, and wow. Okay. I think a lot of people have been saying this is such a high-caliber game, and everyone's playing so well, but I don't feel like this episode displayed that whatsoever. First of all, you have Ken. Ken just really messed things up in a way I could have never imagined. Like, wow, that was so bad. That was really hard to watch. I don't like him anymore, officially. But I also don't like Will. And I will say part of the reason I think he is being treated like such a child is that Jeff does say the youngest player on the tribe, one of the youngest people to ever play the game I think he's also acting kind of immature. I mean, he's whining about things a lot more than all the other players and complaining and constantly trying to justify why he's there when I think he should just be playing, honestly. But it definitely was an entertaining episode. The level 1 visits were really great to see. I just couldn't believe Ken and Will. It was just so hard to watch them play. But I think everyone else is doing really well. I hope everyone had a great week, and glad to hear what everyone else thinks. Bye.
Thanks, Sophia. I don't think anyone was ever sort of emphasizing Ken's strategic game as an example of the high strategic caliber. That was really centered around David and Zeke and how they were playing, and a little bit towards Chris and how the different alliances were maneuvering to get rid of people. And that was interesting to see that the shine's gone off Will for you. I assume that's for the rest of your crew too there that were doing their own fantasy league. Thanks again. Next up, we've got a call from Harrold.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all of the Survivor fans. This is Harrold from Boynton Beach. I just first off want to let all of you guys know I don't talk strategy with just anybody or any podcast. I have to first look into your soul. Anyways, Joanne, the family visits did make me start to cry also. It really got touchy for me when Jay's sister came and how he just wouldn't let go. Hannah and Adam, those 3 visits just were the ones that were the most touching for me. I thought that this episode was actually a really, really, really good episode. Tribal Council is where I just have a bunch of questions. But before we get to Tribal Council, what about Ken going all gap ban on Will and dropping the bomb? I mean, Will comes over to tell you that he wants to flip, and for Will, flippers never win in this game, dude. But you are looking to make your big move, and I know you wanted to try to go out with someone, but your flipping never wins, and Ken didn't like your soul. I want to know how Hannah was so sure that she was going to be voted out. I wish there was a way we could find that out. I think that Adam playing his idol kind of stole all of Will's thunder, but I really think basically he just negated out Will's big move. I think Sunday kind of stuck her foot in her mouth when she was starting to compare Will to the older boys and saying that, yeah, he wants to be like the older boys and wants to make a move and he wants to be up there with the older boys. Sunday, I think you stuck your foot in your mouth and you're pretty much getting ready to be kicked out. Tell me, was it a smart move for Jay to pick Adam to go to the visit? And then was it a good move for Adam to give his reward or his chance to steal a reward to Jay? I don't know how that's going to come back, and I just hope it doesn't bite Jay in the butt because I really, really, really like Jay, and I hope Jay could win. And then one last thing before we go, I was just wondering, what do you guys think? Do you think that Zeke made his moves a little too fast because Zeke kind of just went downhill right after he went after Chris? Did he make that move too fast? What do you guys think? And then last but not least, you got to just give it to Adam for having crotch idol. Can't wait to hear what you guys got to say. And my eliminations for next week, I really believe it's going to be Will Sunday. Tell me what you guys think. Thanks.
Will and Sunday. I could see Will going out.
I guess I'm afraid it'll be Will and Adam. I don't know if Zeke... obviously, Zeke made the move a little bit faster than we were comfortable with. We said that all along because we totally thought
right?
they should get... Yeah, he thinks he did.
If he has a regret.
But we really thought they should have gone ahead and gone hard after Jay before they went after each other. At least Jay.
I think everyone messed their game up when they went after Chris and Jessica there in that big alliance. They could have just completely called off Jay. And then, I don't know if you worry about Will at that point. He's got to be the third goat, the way things are tracking right now.
Yeah, everybody, I think the people that are most in danger, that are going to be targets is Will, David, Adam, and Jay. Mm-hmm. Should be the big targets.
Yeah, you're thinking it's going to be somebody big for sure. Let's see, what was Harold's other question? Did Jay make the best choice bringing Adam along? Yeah, I think that only helped him in terms of other people's perspective on him. That display of compassion, maybe some empathy, makes sense. And Jay had a good story for each of his picks. Yeah, so they all worked, and even Zeke said he would have taken the same people. So I'm going to go with, that was a good call.
Hurt him. Yeah.
Good call on Jay's part. Was it a good call on Adam's part to give up that advantage?
I think it was now that we know Zeke said he kind of taunted everybody with it. And, I think it's best to just let it drift away from him and not be associated with him anymore. I think that
I guess good. I could be wrong after reading it. If I'm not wrong, I think then he squandered it, though, that you could do more with it and you could make a positive out of it, because those kind of advantages, they do tend to haunt you and can wreck your game when everybody knows about them. And then one of the extra videos, Jay said he didn't even know if he'd do anything with it. He was thinking about throwing it away. He didn't really care one way or another.
Well, he thinks he's going to win regardless.
Yeah.
So he didn't need it. So
yeah.
I think what he said.
Remember that when we get to your question, Jacqueline. Yeah, he doesn't need it. All right, thanks, Harold. Next up, we got an email from Kevin in Canada.
Joanne and Stacy. This episode, we added more character into the tales of Ken, Adam, and Will.
Yeah.
Ken poured out his heart in an early confessional and became more human. Later on, we saw him at his worst in the impulsiveness of his test of character / bitter betrayal pulled on Will. I've had mixed feelings about Ken up until now, most of them either neutral or good. Never once have I thought of him as a bit of a jerk. For him to become a new character so late in the game, coupled with his legacy advantage, I believe Ken will be a major player all the way to to the final tribal.
There's a prediction right there.
For Adam, we were given a true and very deep picture into his real life, and I feel like his story arc on the show is all but complete. I'm not saying the chess master wannabe is getting booted out next. I'm merely suggesting Adam's final chapter will see him on the jury and giving Jay his vote.
Could be.
For Will, we learned he actually can be a whiny kid.
Yeah, up until now we didn't know that, huh? That's good.
But cut the guy some slack. His resilient young body is likely coping best of the bunch with the physical toll. The mental toll, maybe not so much. Despite being kingpin for the night, he will be viewed as Jay's little brother. All the way to the end, he has zero chance of winning the game. Adam somehow managed to exploit that curse of an advantage for his own universal good in the game. Kudos to him. I predict 2 majority rule votes in a row next week. The deck will get reshuffled once we get down to 5. Is now the time where we seriously ask the question, can we please see Millennials versus Gen X 2 with the exact same cast next autumn?
I don't know about that.
All right, thanks, Kevin.
That's interesting. Have to mold that over a little more. Good deal. Next up, we got audio from Marla and Sarah.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. Hi, Survivor friends. This is Marla.
And this is Sarah.
With our feedback. We just wanted to say that when we were watching the family visits, it made me feel really sad.
I felt really bad for Adam.
So we thought that was a little bit hard to watch, and usually our feedback is kind of lighthearted, but we didn't feel very lighthearted about this episode, except for the part where Jeff was talking about everyone getting stuck during the challenge, and he kept saying, you're laughing, he kept saying everyone's booty was stuck. That was making us laugh, and actually it's making Sarah laugh right now. So we hope you all have a great week. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks, Joanne and Stacy, for all you do. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Marla and Sarah. Now I know. Booty, booty, booty. Booty, booty, booty. I'll have to use that. Next up, we got a call from Kenny.
Hey, guys. It's Kenny from Dallas. I think this is one of the best seasons in quite a while. I have to separate this season from a season where they bring returning players. I think it's the best season since Carmona. That's a season with Tony won. You had Spencer and you had Cass. And you had a great set of characters. And I think that shows, and this season shows, that what makes a Survivor season great is really not necessarily the setting, but the cast. And how lucky they are in casting the right players and getting players who are interesting to go towards the end. An excellent, excellent season, top-tier Survivor season. And it just goes to show, I don't know what season this is, 31, 32, 33. Many shows get stale. Most shows are not even on the air anymore. Certainly they've gotten stale. And it just goes to show you don't need to hype it up with certain advantages or mixing things up in terms of gameplay. But if you got the right characters, you got gold. Okay, what makes this season very exciting is there is no clear front runner. If you were to hold your Javik today instead of preseason, I think a lot of people would still have their heads scratching who would be the winner. I think certainly we can narrow it down, maybe. Brett and Sunday really are ancillary characters, spare characters, and I don't think they're going anyplace. So that knocks it down to 6. Hannah, unless she's been pulling moves behind the scenes and turns out to be a lot stronger player, the usual suspects, I don't think Hannah has any chance. We're down to 5. Ken is demonstrating himself to be a terrible social player. I really think he would have no chance. That knocks it down to 4. Will is tooting his own horn too much, and I think that he's really not long for this game. That knocks it down to 3 people I think who could legitimately win. So you would have Adam, David, and Jay, and David has been controlling things from behind the scenes and blatantly giving people his immunity idol. Adam, of course, gave it to Hannah. I don't have a clear winner among the 3. Adam certainly has the story this season with the unfortunate situation of his mother. I don't know. I don't know. If I had to pick one right now, I would say Adam, but we'll see. What is the legacy advantage? It could be anything as simple as skipping a step in one of the last challenges, or perhaps practicing with it, before the challenge. I think a great variation of this would be to give an opponent someone else who's competing an extra step to the challenge to make it harder for them to win. By the way, the challenge in which they have to burrow under something, clear the sand and burrow under something in order to get through, it certainly is biased against someone who's very heavy or a woman who is somewhat top-heavy. All in all, an excellent season. I'm looking forward to see what happens next. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, Kenny. It seems like David's story, even though it seems to me that he peaked a couple of episodes ago. He either leveled off or he's trending down a little, whereas Adam and Jay got the big rebounds, and I think Jay may have come out ahead. That's what went through my head when I was listening to Kenny work through all that, because we haven't seen anything significant, I don't think, from David. Next up, we got an email from Jack in California. Hi, Survivor fans. I had a few thoughts from the 2-hour episode last week before I go into this week's. I feel sorry for Jessica and the way she left the game. I also felt for David when he apologized about how he wasn't good in challenges. The letters from home have been emotional in the past, and I'm glad that some have had the opportunity to see them. As for this week, the emotions came through for me during the family visit. I definitely felt the happiness for a lot of them. I wondered how Ken was going to receive the legacy advantage, and am still interested in seeing what it is. I feel Adam made the smart move in not using his advantage to steal the loved one's visit from anyone, and I think in the end that is going to look good on his resume. I probably wouldn't steal a family visit from anyone myself because they all deserve that opportunity. Adam is now back in my good graces, and I hope he wins. If he makes it to the final tribal, I think he'll reveal what he was in the game for, and it would gain a lot of respect, and he will win. I don't know that giving away the reward steal to Jay would really change anything, but it did get it off his back. It looks like Will could be in trouble, but I think the preview for next time is hiding things, and he won't go home. Take care, and I can't wait to hear what the others have to say. Thanks, Jack. So Jack thinks the focus on Will's a red herring.
Right.
Next up, we got audio from Drew.
Hey, Joanna, Stacy. Hey, everyone. This is Drew and my two little accomplices today. Just going to send some quick feedback. Charlie actually reminded me last night, and then again this morning, that it was time to do our recording, so here we are. First things first, what did you want to say, Charlie?
Full points!
Yeah, full points for Daddy. Sorry for the wife's USB 5, but I was pretty excited. It's not how I expected it to happen. I had no idea how it would happen, but I am going to take those full points, and I'm going to be pretty glad about it. Man, this was a crazy merry-go-round with Ken right at the center. I loved when they all started confronting each other in that little circle on the beach, and Ken just, walked away. See you guys. I've done my damage. Here's Waffles, too. We're all gathering around while Mommy sleeps in just a little bit. I thought that Ken had really done himself in. I couldn't really see a way out of that one, and maybe he did do himself in, just not immediately. But I admit I was just a little misty at the family visit, but mostly because Adam was just a wreck and terrified of what he was about to hear, which I guess we all have by now, which is so sad, and I hope he had a chance to see her after the show and before she passed away. And of course, thanks to Jeff, lots of wondering how this all makes people feel. And Will is mad at people for treating an 18-year-old like an 18-year-old. Okay, he was so annoying this week, I almost couldn't believe it. Who even knew he had so much annoying in him? Just give the teenager the respect he deserves as a practically grown human. Anyway, deserves is the key word there. Jeff couldn't have written it better himself. Ugh, it was just so annoying. Just the shouting and the demands and the foolishness. Anyway, I guess that's about it. Winner of the week, I guess Adam, because he didn't steal any visits, and because he won immunity, and played an idol actually for the right person. It didn't really change the vote, but still was a big move, leaving Hannah totally bum-puzzled. Okay, and loser of the week, Will, actually. Ken was blowing things up for sure, but Will needs to settle down. No need to shout, kid. That's right, kid. Because you were a kid, and that's fine. It's okay to be a kid when you're a kid. You have plenty of time to grow up. Anyway, these hooligans are getting out board games again, so I'm going to go stop them before it gets too out of control this early in the morning. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and gosh, just a lot of great things happening on this season. Really enjoying it. Are you enjoying it, Charlie? Yes. Did you want to say anything else? No? Do you want to say full points again? No? Okay, I'll say it. Full points! Yeah. Okay, talk to you later, guys. Bye.
Congrats, Drew. Way to go on the full points. Next up, we got a call from Joe.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all Survivor fans. Joe from Huntersville, North Carolina. So, to follow up from last week's episode, to avoid drawing rocks, why didn't someone tell Zeke and Hannah to do rock, paper, scissors with the loser going home? So, episode 11 started out very predictable. When something starts out predictable, you know that something is going to hit you out of left field. First, good on Jay for inviting Adam to the reward. That definitely shows strength of character. Doesn't anyone in the game understand that Jay is a monster threat to win this game? Next, Ken. What the hell? Oh, sorry about that. You really need to read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Wow, what a way to create unnecessary drama. Finally, Adam. Great going playing the idol for Hannah. It did 3 things. It negated Will's strategic flop, it got rid of one of the major contenders, and cemented Hannah's status as a GOAT. So in the end, Will still voted for Zeke, but it did not matter in the least. So next time on Survivor, will the tribe realize that Jay is a big threat to win? Will they realize that voting out Ken gets rid of their major food source? Will the trust cluster cause Brett's head to explode? Final 3 is Ken, David, and Hannah. Well, that's all I have time for. Take care.
Ooh, bold prediction. Ken, David, Hannah. Interesting. I like that. Thanks, Joe. Next up, we got an email from Mrs. C.
Hi, Joanne. Hi, Stacy. This was my first time playing on JSFL, and I'm having a blast playing, even though I really stink at it, and I mean P-U. However, I upped it a notch this week. I was screaming during tribal council. Yes, 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 I knew it. Then my husband told me to shut up, and of course I didn't listen because he doesn't play the game, so he doesn't understand. I have points to make up. Poor Will. Ken blew up your game, and then Adam outplayed you by using his idol. He didn't need to, but it will look better on his resume than yours. Now go drink your juice box, baby. I am so with Joanne on the family visit. I had to reach for the second box of tissues on this one. I picked Brett to win, but the edit on him and his gameplay is really bad, or he's just not that good at the strategy part. He is cute when he's drunk, though. Oh, wait, was that strategy? No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
I'm enjoying playing the game with y'all, and you have made the game all the more enjoyable. This is the first time I have written in, but I'm so full of myself I couldn't help it. I picked Zeke to go, and he did. Yay me. Okay, enough. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you,
All right.
Mrs. C. Congrats. Way to go. Good job.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Next up, we got a call from Jacqueline.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. Hey, Survivor fans. This is Jacqueline from Orange County, California. Oh my God. I freaking loved it. I am like you, Stacy. I think you're the one who said that you don't really like the family visits, and neither do I. I think they should totally skip it, and I would love to see more Survivor play than a bunch of crying. But I'm like you, Joanne. I always tear up regardless. It's very emotional. And this is actually family visit I really did like, because it was such a beautiful moment between Adam and his brother, about him saying that him being out there is giving him strength to his mom. That is just amazing. Just so amazing. I think we all had that cringeworthy moment when Ken pulled Jay aside and was asking for answers. He totally reminds me of like those old school players where they're alliance tight and they're all very open with information, and that's just not how it's played anymore. He just totally blew up Will's game and his own game, which might potentially get him pulled from the game, kicked out, because who wants to work with a player like that? When it gets down to those 5 playing together, they're not going to tell Ken anything, because Ken's going to go looking for answers and he might be voted out next. Oh, and poor Will. I feel so bad for him. He, is a diehard Survivor fan. He knows how it's being played and he knows how hard he has to play. And he is just on this amazing Survivor group where everybody's playing just as hard as him, and that is very difficult. I don't know what else he could do, but good on him for, getting out Zeke. And I honestly thought at Tribal Council he was going to flip on David's click and vote out Hannah. And what do you guys think? Do you think Adam kind of stole his thunder by quote unquote saving Hannah? And I'm sure it's going to be revealed that Will did flip on Zeke and vote him out. But what do you guys think about that? And a big Pete woohoo for my boy Jay still being in Survivor. Man, he can really make it there to the finals. He still has his Hidden Immunity Idol and it's getting down to the nitty gritty. I hope he makes it, man. That would be so awesome. And honestly, from my perspective, Stacey, I know you don't like him, but I don't see his arrogance. He totally reminds me of like a lot of my friends, how they act, how, you know, we all are together. Like, I think his lingo throws you off. Like, I remember you mentioning you didn't like him saying, like, I beat all these fools. It's like, I don't think he means it in such a, like, harsh way that you take it. I totally, like, that's how I am with, you know, my friends when we play video games. Like, we're very, like, in each other's face, but it's in a joking, fun manner. Maybe it's like a millennial Gen X thing, but I love him so much, and I really hope he, you know, he wins this whole thing. That would be pretty awesome. Looking forward, I'm hoping that this group of 5 sticks together and starts taking out Brett and Sunday. Sometimes when they get the numbers, they end up just like attacking each other. So maybe Ken might go just because of his slip up. We'll see. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. Bye.
Thanks, Jacqueline.
When you relate it to our LAN parties and how we used to, you know, play games and scream and yell at each other.
I play almost every day online, and
I know you do.
I have people, you know, screaming for my head.
But you love that.
Yeah, yeah. I get
you're
that part.
You're laughing and tickled.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
You love sitting there and picking somebody off with a shed. Headshot, a shed hot. A headshot. So anyway, I can relate in that way.
Yeah, well, it's interesting to think about for sure, but that's certainly not the only thing that's made me think that he was arrogant, and it's not the only example of things that he said.
And I think she's basically saying you're old and you don't get it.
Yeah, that could be.
And
I'll give her that.
There's truth in that.
Certainly, yes. Maybe she's opened my eyes to look at it in a new way.
There you go, Jacqueline.
I absolutely agree with Jacqueline that Jay is a huge threat to win. Still
totally.
is. The fact that they took their eye off him just staggers me. So maybe that is a little bit of being there with Sophia too, and that the level of strategic play. Yeah, there's been some great plays, but there's been some really dumb ones too. So all of it's been enjoyable though, as you can tell from this feedback.
Well, Jay's been a big threat for a long time. That's why we were so like, how could you turn on each other before you get out one of the biggest threats left?
Yep. Definitely took their eye off the ball with that one. Next up, we got audio from Jill.
Hi, Joanne and Stacey. Hi, everybody. It's Jill from the Outback here. I've only just this second finished watching the episode, and in the end, we find out that Will voted for Zeke anyway. But when Adam stood up to play his idol, that was just brilliant. This episode had it all. It had me crying at the start of it. Actually, that's 2 weeks in a row Survivors made me cry with Jessica last week. And then the loved ones visits this week. And I don't know. I just kept reacting. I think I'm going to need a Survivors Anonymous by the end of this series. It's just been brilliant. There's been all these twists and turns in every episode that I don't know what's happening. It looked like it was a sealed deal there earlier in the episode when Will said that he wanted to flip and play with David and everything. And then he goes and tells Ken, and Ken, what were you thinking, man? Goes and tells the other tribe for his test on Will. Oh, man, I don't know, Ken, come on, man. Obviously, I need to wait a little while after watching Survivor to do my feedback because I'm lost for words. I think I'm going to leave it there, Joanne and Stacey. Thanks for the podcast. I really love it. I haven't listened to yours yet. I've just downloaded it, so I will be listening to what you guys think of it. Can't wait for the feedback show. Happy days, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, Jill. Next up, we got email from Josh, the plush moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacey, the family visit, another wacky tribal council, and Dr. Gleeville goes home. What a great episode. This week's other observations. A podcast for the TV show Arrow coined the term Gleeville to describe someone who enjoys being bad. That describes Zeke's confessionals to a T. Ken's gameplay speech when he received the legacy advantage screamed Mactor. I was glad that Adam didn't use his reward steal or pull himself from the game. Note to Will's mom, Timbuktu isn't in Fiji. Adam thrashing helplessly under the log reminded me of a turtle stuck on its back.
That's quite the image.
Yeah, in true holiday fashion, Adam re-gifted his white elephant advantage to Jay.
I like that.
First it was trust clusters instead of alliances. Now it's pendulum strategy instead of flipping. Roger's Thesaurus must be sponsoring this season. With apologies to Jeff Foxworthy, if you think that throwing a tantrum about not getting respect is the best way to earn it, you might be a teenager. Seeking Adam wearing the immunity necklace reminded me of those coconut shell bikini tops they shell to tourists in Hawaii. Jay often rubs me the wrong way, but he definitely has a finely honed spidey sense. In daily life, I use the phrase thundering dunderhead to describe someone who acts officious while doing something supremely stupid and clueless. Ken blowing up his alliance as a test to prove it was real? That definitely qualifies. Will's big move at Tribal was to be so wishy-washy that Adam had to use his idol to ensure Hannah stayed. Guess who doesn't get credit on their resume for that? I nearly fell off my couch laughing when the castaways started talking about fluffing Will. I wonder... I'm going to leave that alone. I wonder if Jeff keeps a bottle of Purell in his pocket at Tribal Council for hidden idol reveals. Who knew that teenagers need a resume to work at McDonald's?
That's bad.
The producers should put out a Survivor diet and exercise DVD. It could have Ponderosa testimonials about weight loss, plus isometric exercises from the challenges. Next time, Will wants to control the game's direction. Will the other players survive with the teen driver, or will Adam and Brett revoke his learner's permit? Anyway, that's all I have for now. Thanks, Joanna and Stacy, for all you do. Can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Thank you, Josh. Thank you as always. Next up, we got audio from Jaywaffles.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all the Survivor fans at home. This is Jaywaffles with some feedback for Survivor Gen X versus Millennials, episode 11, or I like to call it the vote out of my boy Zeke. I'm going freeform today, guys. I got no script. I'm just saying this from the heart. And I gotta say, I'm a little upset, but I could see it coming. After Chris's interview with you the other day, it was pretty clear that Zeke didn't have much of a chance at that point. His answers seemed very, very telling as to Zeke's overall fate in the game. And you just know that things were going to happen when Chris was sort of talking about how good David was in the game. And truthfully, I think that gives us a little bit of a clue as to who's going to be winning this game now. I believe David is going to be the sole survivor. I think that he's going to gain the most votes. I think he's played the best game so far from the rest of the castaways. And they're really showing his story. So I'm not sure if I'd be okay with that or not. I'm still not sold on David. I guess I'm happy that he was able to overcome some pretty substantial odds and form decent friendships with people, but still hurts. Some other observations in the game. I was really taken aback at Ken's behavior. I felt that he was way over the top and way too pretentious in the way that he acts about honor and how to play the game. I don't think he's earned any of that honor and honesty from Will or anyone else in the game, and to demand it from him, to put him through those trials is fairly ridiculous. And let's talk about Will a little bit. He really came into his own this episode, huh? I don't think it will do him much good, as he really showed his age, but not that I blame him. I was 18 once and kind of know how I acted at that time as well, so he's holding his own, but I don't think he's got a chance. I also wanted to mention that the family visit was quite emotional for me as well. I'm not sure if they were a little bit more heavy-handed this season as in previous seasons, but there were some emotional moments there, and I don't know how they made it through. Anyway, predictions, like I said, I think David's got it. I think he's figured things out. He's got the right crew of people to go with him. Unfortunately, I'd like to see Brad up there. I like him now that Zeke is gone. Jay, I think, kind of has a chance, but I don't know if he's developed the same kind of relationships as David has. And honestly, I think David's played better. But time will tell. All right, guys, thanks for everything, and have a great week. Bye.
Thanks, Jaywaffles. Next up, we got audio from Jen. She's back.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California. So much to talk about. I don't even know where to start. I'll start with the fact that I just love the family visit every season. I know some people think it's cheesy and hokey, but I really think it was just a poignant moment, particularly with the focus being on Adam and his reaction to particularly those who got to see their mothers. I also like the fact that I feel like game mode just kind of fell away for a moment there, especially for Jay and Adam, with Adam giving up his advantage, first by not stealing the advantage from whoever won this competition, but also in his gratefulness for Jay picking him, giving the advantage to Jay. That was both generous and I actually think skillful, because he gave up kind of what was an albatross around his neck, and he is now free of that. But I did giggle just a little bit in the fact that now he's just given the albatross to Jay, and I don't know quite if in the moment Jay realized that, or whether after he gets back to camp and thinks about it for a minute, whether he will actually understand that, hey, now I have this advantage that people may be upset about. Secondly, I just want to talk about Ken. I am almost at a loss for words for what happened there. Will comes to Ken, as he has went to every other member of that alliance, and said, hey, I want to flip. I want to get Zeke out. Ken should be at least positively intrigued by this. He doesn't have to be 100% trusting of this person. This is Survivor after all. But this may indicate that his group has the numbers. Will goes on to say that they're going to vote for Ken, by the way. Again, this should make Ken feel good. This person who's exposing the other alliance's game is also going to function to save him. So Ken wants to go check this out. So does Ken go to David? Does Ken go to Hannah? Does Ken go to anyone he remotely trusts to check out this information? No, he goes to the enemy. He blows up his game. He blows up Will's game. I think he blew everybody's game up at that moment. And I'm going to run out of time if I don't switch gears here, but I do want to talk about Will. Loose lips sink ships, and Will definitely has that problem. Will should never have talked to Ken. He didn't need to talk to Ken. He had already spoken to David, Hannah, and Adam, and they were all going to jump on board. Many votes in Survivor history have been cast where not all the members of an alliance knew what the outcome was going to be. This could have been different, and he really didn't need Ken's blessing in order to flip. I think it all would have been okay. Also, at Tribal Council, I wanted to touch on Jay's statement of faith in Will. I really don't think he was stating faith in Will. I feel like he was stating or making a statement that basically was protecting his hidden immunity idol. He knows that Will is the only one who knows about his hidden immunity idol. I don't think Jay knows that that whole thing has been blown up also by Will when he told Zeke, and then Zeke told everybody else. I think Jay still thinks that his idol is a secret. So that was total self-protection on his part. That was not a vote of confidence that Will was his right-hand man. I don't believe that for a second. Anyway, I could go on and on and on. I'm already over time. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be speaking and not coughing. And I can't wait to hear others' perspectives on this another great episode of Survivor. Until next time, bye.
Thanks, Jen. That didn't even occur to me. I like that observation. I'm curious, too, if Jay knows that everybody knows that he has an idol. I don't think we've seen anything on that.
Nothing that's confirmed that he knows Will told.
Yeah, I have to go back and rewatch that exchange with that in mind now. Very cool. Thanks again, Jen. Next up, we got an email from Nicola in Lexington, Kentucky. Hi, everyone. I'm traveling again and only caught the last 10 minutes or so of the show. All I have to say is bugger. Thanks for all you do, Joanne and Stacy. Have a great weekend, everyone. Cheers. Thank you, Nicola. That's it. You just get a little bit in and got a little bit to share.
Die-hard fan.
Yes. Good to go. Next up, we got an audio from Jeremiah.
No! Hello, everyone. This is Jeremiah Panhorst here with some feedback, and that's pretty much my reaction to this episode. Oh, it was a good one, but it pained me to see my 24-point USB Zeke go home. Oh, how terrible. To get idled out like that, it's got to be painful. Maybe not quite as bad as, of course, what happened to poor Jessica last week, but it certainly is not a way you want to go out. Obviously, like everyone said, Zeke played way too hard, made himself too big of a target too early on, and that is pretty much what cost him in the end. So I hate to see him go. Obviously, I'm upset about that, but hey, that's just how things play out in Survivor. Hopefully, for his sake, he'll get a chance to play again and maybe settle back next time and not play quite as hard. So what a fascinating turn of events. It almost does seem like everyone that's been a target has been going out now. I mean, what do we expect? Jay and David probably to go next? I mean, wow, it's just been insane. And who is going to win this thing now? I'll tell you what, I had Ken on my list, but after this episode, I don't think Ken's winning now for sure. I just don't see it. And even though poor Will was trying to make a big move, which kind of got blundered a little bit, like you guys said, because of Adam playing the idol, I think probably right now my top list of people is Jay, Adam, and David. I think one of those three guys is winning this thing. What do you guys think? I think that's who we're looking at this moment. I mean, if I could pick a new USB, I think I might go with David or Jay. Now, maybe Adam. I don't know. One of those three guys. I like those three guys' chances at this moment. And I guess if I had to lean towards one person, like if you guys put a knife to my throat, say, Jeremiah, pick a guy, I think I'm going to go with David. I think David's going to somehow win this thing. And what a crazy story would that be, right? I mean, I think it'd be a good one. Although Adam winning would be a pretty good story too. Well, anyway, listen, I didn't have a whole lot else to say that hasn't already been said. I just wanted to express my depressed mode of poor Zeke going home. I guess this means I will not be winning the challenge. I don't know. Maybe I could still win the challenge, but I'm certainly not going to win JSFL. That's for sure. Another chance blown, probably. But hey, you never know. All right, well, I won't ramble on any longer. You guys take care. I hope everybody is doing well, and I cannot wait to hear what the rest of the Survivor Fans podcast community has to say. And until next time, this is Jeremiah from Southern California.
Thanks, Jeremiah. I still have all these reservations about David and his story here. It's like, good on you, but, stepping over this incredibly low life bar, I'm not sure that's enough to merit a win in Survivor.
I think
I'm
he
not
deserves
getting it.
it.
Nah.
I think if he wins, he deserves it. Jay is deserving, and
hey, you pull off a win with this group of folks and this jury,
then okay,
you probably earned something, unless somehow we end up with a really bitter jury and it's a not vote for someone else.
Well, because our perceptions aren't always their perceptions. They see a lot more than we do.
Guaranteed that we are not on the same base. They can't reveal all that in the limited time the editors have there. Okay, next up, we got an audio from Paul.
Hey, Paul in Louisiana here. So, heading straight to the challenge, I have to say that I thought that Adam's back was going to look like hamburger when he got out from underneath that log. He may not have succeeded, but he did give it his all. And I have to admit that this is one of the few times that I felt something at the family reunion. And I can tell you exactly when it happened. When Hannah said that her mother was a cancer survivor. All I could think of was Adam, and yeah, it hit me. And when he didn't steal the reward, well, I started to feel good about him again. So then Jay ends up taking Adam on the reward, and in doing so, wins a little respect from me. But in this case, Jay is a player that I really don't care for, so I'm changing my mind about him only slightly. I'll admit that he comes across much better when he's not cocky about his standing in the game. And then Adam gives Jay the ability to steal someone's reward, which was one of Adam's best moves, but I don't think it was the best way to get rid of it. Burning it at Tribal in front of everyone would be my course of action if I owned it and everyone knew I had it. Sadly, with this curse now in Jay's hands, I'm expecting to see it played against Adam, where I can then forget about the bit of respect I gave to Jay this week. So, we obviously missed a huge chunk of discussion because we had no clue that Hannah was a target, and then suddenly out of nowhere, Adam says, "Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat," and then saves her with a perfectly timed counterpunch. True, he didn't need to play it, but even if he had to, I think it was a bad decision since he may very well need it for himself soon enough. I guess Will had his mind set on making a big move no matter what the cost. The problem here is that you can't just sit back allowing everything to unfold around you for the first 3/4 of the game and then suddenly decide you want to play by throwing a monkey wrench in the works. You're going to piss people off. Will's role was determined by his previous actions or non-actions, and deciding to play this late in the game just puts a target on you. Ken, though, wow, talk about a big reveal, because this does explain a lot about him and how he doesn't mesh with the rest of his tribe. Yes, Will is partially to blame, because you should never tell anyone that their name is being tossed around unless you want to induce a bad reaction, which we saw happen in spades with Ken. You get one chance to prove yourself with him, but then he plays the worst move in the Survivor book, direct confrontation. And on top of that, he threw Will under a bus. Ken, when someone hands you an olive branch, you don't turn around and cane them with it. I thought I respected Ken, but I can't, because hypocrites are just unacceptable to me. So we have 2 vote-offs this week, and as you may have suspected, I'm leaning towards Will and Ken. Will has drawn too much attention to himself too fast, and Ken has made a mess that needs to be sorted. Jay's here to stay because they've let that idol slide too long. You take care of problems outside of your alliance before you clean up within it. They didn't do anything to out the idol, and now Jay will most likely make it to the end. And if he does, I believe he's got the jury votes and the best survival story to take it all home. Since my new USB only lasted 2 weeks, I'm now pulling for Brett. His blow-ups don't bother me for some reason, but he really hasn't done anything. In fact, he and Sunday are almost one and the same. Now, if David wins, I'm going to hate myself for swapping him out as my USB, but at the time it was the right move. If he just keeps quiet from here on out and doesn't draw too much attention to himself, he might have a decent shot at winning, provided Jay isn't standing next to him. So, I guess that's it for me. Catch you later. Bye.
Thanks, Paul. I guess our waiting to share the thing that was potentially spoilery didn't include us remembering what everyone said,
what everyone said. So, it's kind of a moot point now. But we are going to talk about what's been on the commercials for the last few days for about next week's episode. So if you don't want to know, skip ahead if you hadn't already figured it out.
Yeah, so it is a double elimination, and we need the GSFL folks to know that.
Yeah, so if you're playing GSFL, you'll need to select 2 vote-off choices again for the next episode and your normal 4 safe picks, because there's going to be 2 people voted out.
2 tribal councils.
Yep. 2 immunity challenges, 2 tribal councils. Bam, bam.
Yeah, it's going to make it even more challenging this season.
It's going to be another 2-day cycle. That would really be intense for them, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Challenges, back-to-back days.
That would actually be an interesting thing to do to them. Really get their heads spinning, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Which means they are definitely going into the finale with 6. That's a lot. I don't know exactly what they're going to do with that, but
guaranteed someone will just sort of fall to the wayside and all that.
Buckle your seatbelt.
Yeah, how delightful. And I, like someone else mentioned in the feedback here, didn't necessarily expect they're going to be able to follow that double episode as well, but this one certainly delivered too, huh?
Yeah.
In different ways.
Totally, it did.
New and unique ways. So kudos to the editors. They've definitely just done an outstanding job. I like all the Brett love. That's interesting to hear a lot of people saying that. And we know that he's got some good positive connections. This next double's going to be really intense. Just because it's a double, should make it pretty good. Yeah. What's your idea of the most
who's going to be safe?
Surprising double? Yeah, it's going to make it challenging for sure if you're trying to pick for the JSFL.
The most surprising double?
Yeah.
Would be if they actually got Jay and David out.
Yeah.
Because they'd have to force Jay's idol.
Have to catch him looking, right?
And they may not get him, but then they could get him the next time.
Yeah.
So.
Or they just catch him off guard. They blindside him. Everyone leads him on.
His instincts have been pretty tight.
That's, okay, absolutely. You got to give him credit for reading the room really well.
Yes. Having
good situational awareness. That's also to the fault of the people he's playing the game with. They didn't do enough to make him worried. You got to see both sides of that in that context.
I think he was worried. He always said he was worried coming in, but he really pays attention during tribal council when I think they forget about that he's really paying attention, and he's like, hey, yeah, this is a risk, but I didn't hear my name coming up. I'm not going to play it.
Yes, I think we can all agree that's what's going on. The thing is that they're dropping the ball. They're not following through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree, but
Well, we certainly enjoyed getting to hear your perspectives on episode 11 and your humorous takes, and you certainly gave us some things to think about for our vote-off picks and for how the next episode might play out. I want to say a big thanks to Christy and Catherine. Thank you so much for your recurring donations. We greatly appreciate that support.
By Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern and 4:30 Pacific time.
I hope you have some safe picks left.
I do.
know I do.
I do this week.
Yeah.
But
that's rare.
I don't know if that's going to work. No, I think I'm good.
Yeah, you going to have enough for the finale?
Yes, I am.
You don't normally.
I do this time, I think.
You
Well,
think.
it depends on who leaves. But no,
Yes.
I think I do.
Yeah, I think I'm good all around.
So,
Because
like
I
I say,
played
that's
boldly
unusual
in the beginning.
for me.
Yes.
I tend to really, blow things worse at the end, but I've blown it pretty good all season, so the ending's going to be good for me.
Yeah, kind of crescendo there
That's
at
where,
the end.
there's 50 points
Yes.
at the finale.
You
so,
could recover.
Anybody could recover.
Right now, though, who's ahead between me and you?
You're 1 point ahead.
1 point.
Yeah, see, if I had stuck with
There
my
you go. Booty, booty,
inside,
booty.
we'd have tied.
That does work. It makes you giggle, doesn't it? Oh,
Well,
anything else?
But I'm looking at you when
Uh-huh.
you say it.
Booty, booty, booty. Anything else?
No, I'm good. Everybody have a great weekend.